Hey, what's going on, friend? Juan Pablo here. Now, today's video, I'm going to discuss what to do post-close after you acquire a cash-flowing multi-unit rental property. Because it's important, right? I have a bunch of coaching students and people who enroll into our programs to acquire properties. And so after they acquire a property, they think, that's it, the acquisition part is over. I'm just going to just coast on from this day forward in regard to receiving passive income. Yes, real estate investing does produce passive income, but it does require you to take some action here and there. And what is passive income? Passive income is defined as this: income that you receive on a consistent basis with little to no work required. Now, most people focus on the no work required. There is some little work. So after you close on the property, one of the first things you have to do is transfer utilities and bills into your name if you're responsible for utilities. Now, I have a lot of different properties. Not every property is the same. Some properties, I pay for the water bill as the owner. Other properties, I don't have to. Some properties, I pay for the house electric, for the basement and the hall. Some properties, I don't. Some properties, I pay for gas for the whole building. Some properties, I don't. It varies. So there's different utilities, right? So in that case, once I close on the property, and I being the owner is responsible for utilities, it's important the day of closing that you transfer utilities in your name. Because you want to be a professional. You don't want to be that person in which you close on a property and then the previous owner who sold you the property is trying to track you down, hound you because you still didn't transfer the water bill into your name. Because in most states, once you own the property, the water bill is lienable, meaning if you don't pay that water bill, they'll place a lien. So the previous owner wants to get the water bill out their name, and oftentimes with the water bill, you just can't just cancel it because the water company has to come and do a meter read and fill out paperwork to transfer ownership from the previous owner into your name. So it's a process. So you want to make sure that you, being a professional as well as being courteous, take action on a timely manner by the day of closing, taking the water bill out your name. Because the seller could be disgruntled. The seller can say, hey, I sold this person this property and the water bill's still in my name, and the water company is saying they need to get access to the basement to read the meter in order to get the water bill in my name, but I'm not the owner anymore. I already handed over the keys to the new owner, so now my hands are tied. So you know what? Let me take matters up with the court, so that way I'm gonna make you pay me a reimbursement for the water bill as well as my attorney fees. It can happen. Not saying it happened to me, right? But I want you to make sure that you become a responsible, professional, and courteous property owner. Transfer utilities out of your name day one of closing. Other thing that you want to be mindful of too, post-close, is property management. Now, you can choose to manage the property yourself, or you can have other people manage it for you. It's entirely up to you. If you have property management, then being that they're a professional company, they will take a lot of work off of your plate, meaning they'll collect their rents, they'll hold on to the security deposits and escrow. When a tenant moves out, they'll send out the security deposit monies that's owed to the tenant, unless there's some fees involved, meaning they didn't leave the property in good shape or they had some past due rent or what have you. But let's say the tenant did everything perfectly fine, the property was in great shape, there was no money owed, they'll return the security deposit credit, they'll coordinate showings and so forth. But if you choose to self-manage your property, aka be a landlord, then it's your responsibility to make sure that you become a professional property management company. Meaning, if a tenant moves out, guess what you'll have to do? You have to inspect that unit, assess any damages. You also have to assess your ledger to see if the tenant owes any back rent. Now, if the tenant didn't owe any back rent and the property is in pristine condition, then guess what? You have to return that security deposit back in a timely fashion. What's timely? Well, it depends on the local real estate laws in your area. Some states require within 30 days or whatever, or the day of moving out. Whatever your local real estate laws, whatever real estate local laws are in place, you just have to adhere to them. You have to be knowledgeable of them. Okay, so you have to make sure that you perform those property management activities if you choose to manage a property yourself to save on some money. Then you have to do regular inspections. Now, what I like to do is do an inspection at least every 6 months just to make sure the property is in good shape. And you want to make sure that the tenant is late on the rent. You carry yourself as a professional and exercise what's written in the contract, aka the lease. Not so much, well, this person's a good person, they're facing some hardships, you know what, I can delay it. If you continue to delay, will the banks have the same mindset with you? Because I have to share that with my tenants, right? With Bank of America. I love Bank of America. Hopefully to give me a check as an endorsement or sponsorship, right? But I love, that bank. But if my tenants don't pay rent, do you think I can share with Bank of America, well, my tenants didn't pay rent, so can you forego me paying the mortgage? No. They're like, hey, you still owe us, right? That's in our contract when you took on this mortgage. So of course, you might be thinking, well, that's not always the case, Juan Pablo. What about if there's a health crisis going on, which is happening at the time of this recording? Then of course, if it's a not just national, but worldwide pandemic, then yes, some lenders may take that into consideration. So I highly recommend, if you're a current owner and you just closed on a property, or you had a property for some years and you're facing financial constraints, meaning your tenants lost their jobs as a result of the pandemic and you're unable to pay the mortgage, then of course, reach out to your mortgage company and ask for either a forbearance or interest-only payments until things get cleared up, until your tenants get jobs, or until you're able to be financially stable to pay their regular mortgage payment. So I highly recommend you to negotiate with your mortgage company, okay? But that's just me going on a tangent. But the point of this is important that once you close, management of that asset is as equally, if not as greater of importance than you acquiring that property. Because so often as beginning real estate investors, people think about just the acquisition of the property. I found the money, I found the deal, I performed due diligence, and I closed. But once you close, you still have to be somewhat active on making sure that that property is stabilized and managed properly. So if you choose to manage the property yourself or hire a property management company, it's important that that unit, that building, as well as the tenant is being managed effectively. Now, if you did hire property management, that's a great job for you because you're outsourcing that to professionals. You still have to make sure you manage the property manager, because I don't want you to think that, oh, I hired a property management company, I'm gonna kick back and relax and just let them do their job. No, you still gotta check in on them. It's just like having a business. If I hire a company or a person to manage a department or the business in general, then guess what? As the owner, I still gotta keep tabs on the management company or the manager, period. It's up to me to make sure that person or that company is still doing their job. I still have to see reports. I still have to audit their work. So you have to have that same mindset, okay? And another thing, don't buy another property until the property you just closed on is stabilized, meaning you have it at least 80% occupied, the tenants are paying their rents, the repairs, the majority of the major repairs have been made. Once you get to that point, then consider buying another property. So that's one of the things I've done. Every 6 months, I will buy a new property. That was my philosophy, every 6 months, because within that six month period, I'm raising capital, I'm establishing new relationships, I'm looking for new deals, and I'm making sure that the property I just closed on 6 months ago is being stabilized. So every 6 months is a good time frame to acquire another property. So I want you to make sure that you focus on stabilizing that property and making sure it's properly managed every 6 months. And then once it's stabilized, wash, rinse, and repeat the cash flow cycle. Find the money, find a deal, perform due diligence, and close, okay? So that's extremely important, post-close. Now, if you're unfamiliar with property management or you're not a people's person. You just don't like people, or let alone tenants, because you think that it's hard for you to not just, for lack of a better word, be tough on them, right? To give it to them straight. And let's say you're a softie, for lack of a better term, which is perfectly fine. Then you might want to outsource to a property management company. Period. Outsource it to a professional. But you have to know more about property management, whether you outsource it to a professional or if you do it yourself. It's important for you to know these things, because I would hate for you to be on autopilot, let this property management company just do their things, and they're not doing things the right way. Got it? Cool. And the last thing, if a property goes wrong after you buy it, whether it's unexpected repairs, or a contractor didn't do right by you and cheated you out some money, or repairs, or a property management company did it to you as well, it's okay. It happens to the best of us, right? Of course, having a mentor or joining a coaching program will help minimize the mistakes you will make, but they will not necessarily eliminate all the mistakes you will make, okay? But if you do make mistakes, guess what? You make mistakes once and you learn from them. You keep going. You don't take it personally. You don't become dejected and discouraged and say, you know what, this real estate thing doesn't work, so I'm not going to do it again. No, you learn from your mistakes. You become a smarter business person and real estate entrepreneur. Because I have trust, faith, and confidence that day by day, in every way, you're getting better and better as a business person and real estate investor. So if I have this faith and trust and confidence in you, then help me out here. Have that same faith, trust, and confidence in yourself. Believe that you will continually buy properties to the point you're financially free and independent. So you can leave an inheritance, not just buy properties for yourself, but so you can leave an inheritance to your children's children. All right, so you can grow your portfolio. All right, so I believe in you, and continue to improve and do your thing. All right, cool. If you have any comments, please like, share, and subscribe. As always, it's to your success. Earn passively, live passionately. Happy investing. Peace.